of the SCM around the world also has passion to care about people. This is one important thing that I have learned from SCM.
From SCM, I can learn more things, not just in spiritual things, but also in social and politics.
To me, I think that SCM gives me a place to work with people, to know more about the injustice in the society.
Leaders in many of the NGOs and social movements are the products of SCM.
SCM is one of the pioneers for gender balance in our society.
I learned from SCM how to look at the society in different ways and in different angles. I learned from SCM how to move with people who are oppressed in the society. It taught me how to work with people who really need the justice from the society, especially the young men and women who are seeking for justice in the society.
I can learn about many issues, but the main issue is about ecumenism. For me, ecumenism is about how to interact with one another, coming from different background. It's a place where we can actualize who are we. I'm glad that I involved in the SCM because it teaches me how to interact with people from different perspectives.
The World Student Christian Federation is a group of worldwide ecumenical fellowship of Christian movements and student association, as well as members of the academic community. It was formed in 1895 by student leaders, namely John R. Mott and Carl Fries, with a vision and mission to provide a worldwide ecumenical forum for students and youth across boundaries of culture, race, and religion. Throughout the years, WSCF aims to bring its members into fellowship with one another in mutual service, to strive for peace and justice in and among nations, work for the manifestation of the unity of the Church, to be messengers of God's reign on earth. In other words, WSCF calls its members to live out the gospel of Jesus Christ.
What is the student Christian movement? Every one of those three words is important. It's a movement, and if ever we forget that, we're going to be in big trouble. We're a movement, not an institution. Secondly, our grounding is in the Christian faith. And thirdly, our constituency is students. And we've got to take each one of those words with equal seriousness. Sometimes I think we've not done that. Sometimes we've forgotten that we do have a special vocation to work among students. Sometimes we've even forgotten that our grounding is in the Christian faith. And sometimes we've been so worried about organization and budget and all that stuff that we've forgotten that we're a movement. I hope the student Christian movement will always remember that it is part of the wider family of Jesus Christ. It's not simply a group of eccentric students doing their own thing. It is a part of the church around the world. Now sometimes, of course, very often in fact, that means the SCM will be critical of the church. There are many things in the church that deserve criticism at the present time. But even when the SCM is being critical, it should never forget that the church remains its home, or to change the image, the church remains our mother, even when occasionally we protest against it.
SCM has three clear locus. One is the campus, the other one is in society and churches. In the academic communities, SCM members are students. So student means they have to think about the new knowledge, intellectual persuasions, build up new academism So as a student, as a member of SCM on the campus, they have to do some kind of new Renaissance kind of movements, so that academic community itself is very attractive place for debate and discussions and looking for something new that is on the academic communities. As in the societies, students as citizens. So you as citizens has a lot of responsibilities in terms of building communities of peace in your respective societies, as well as in terms of working for social justice. There are so many injustices. So how to break through these injustices is the task of SCM as well as a citizen of the societies.
The Federation, through the years, has been an absolutely essential device for holding Christian students in dialogue with one another, sometimes in tension with one another, but through the years, from the very earliest days, it has performed a vital service to Christians in our campuses and colleges. Without the movement, without the Federation behind all our SCMs, the ecumenical movement today would simply not exist.
The diverse pluralistic cultures and quest for knowledge and truth has always inspired the birth of new movements in Asia. At the turn of the 19th century, Asia's diverse contexts paved the way for the emergence of the student Christian movements in the region. In 1968, WSCF was regionalized, and WSCF Asia Pacific became one of the 6 regions in the Federation. Today, there are 17 national student Christian movements in the Asia Pacific region. Aotearoa, New Zealand, Australia, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Hong Kong, India, Indonesia, Japan, Korea, Myanmar, Malaysia, Pakistan, Philippines, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, and Thailand. Presently, there is also a contact movement in Timor-Leste. WSCF Asia Pacific calls all SCMs in the region to train and nurture members to become academically advanced as students, theologically equipped as Christians, and ecumenically oriented as church-related persons.
I think this is about time for us to think anew what it means to be a student Christian movement on campus as a Christian presence. I think that means that we have to play a prophetic role. We have to give some alternative understanding of what university is. University is not just for job training. University is not just to train the students to get the better jobs and make lots of money. And university is not a commercial place. University should be an educational place where human beings are trained as citizens, human beings as moral beings, human beings as spiritual beings. This is the mission of university. Especially this is a mission for Christian universities in Asia. It's about time for us to reborn as Asian universities. Asia is the future of the world. And Asia has a responsibility for the remaking of the 21st century, which has to be the century of reconciliation and peace and prosperity for everyone. I hope that SCM will be reborn to take responsibility of being prophetic elements, prophetic voice for universities in Asia.
To fulfill our aims, WSCF Asia Pacific carries out a wide range of programs based on the assessed needs of the SCMs and the current social realities. These works are carried out through a number of committees and staff. The major committees are Asia Pacific Committee or Regional Committee determines the program priorities of the region. The Regional Committee meets once in every 2 years. Regional Standing Committee reviews the progress and facilitates the implementation of decisions made by the Regional Committee. Regional Women's Committee is responsible for the women's program.
WSCF, true to its mission of being a prophetic voice in Asia, have responded to these issues of globalization and conflict through its programs. Its recent program, Student Empowerment for Transformation, which is the region's primary leadership training program, has tackled the issue of globalization and its alternative last 2002. Likewise, the AP region is very much active in the campaign against war in Iraq. We have launched signature campaigns down to the university level. We have sponsored Skip a Meal campaign in order to send and save money for refugees of wars in Iraq. The countries, the national movements in Asia Pacific is very active in the campaign against globalization and also in peace campaign in their own respects.
Living in Asia is a multiracial, multicultural, all multi-plural societies, so that the interface programs is very important. Without understanding of proper religions or elements of culture, it's quite difficult to live as a person here in Asia. At the same time, intercontextual participation is very important. How our context is different from the others. Without understanding our neighbor, our knowledge is very much limited. So I urge SCM to do for inter-exchanges, inter-movement exchanges, also interface program and intercontextual kind of development is quite important for the future.
Ecumenism, when I learned it in Hong Kong as a member of SCM, that was the time I'm most involved in struggling to relate my faith to the society. So for me, that's mainly about social actions and Christian practices. And I think the other part of ecumenism is, or the SCM's introduction of me into ecumenism is that this is a space opened up for all kinds of possibilities. I mean, as a student, that is an immense liberating power, because as a young Christian, a student, you're always trying to learn about rules, discipline, acquiring the social skills, try to be successful. So seldom your questions are allowed to be expressed and talked about freely. But I think SCM is the beginning point for me for that. So I feel that some of the queries, some of the contradictions I find in the religious traditions, in my belief system, in the things that we saw around us, really find a place to be explored and to share among people of similar doubts and queries and critiques.
Hence, WSCF Asia Pacific is deeply committed to pertinent issues such as higher education, human rights, peace and justice, globalization, women and gender, ecumenism and interfaith. These issues are addressed in major regional programs, such as Student Empowerment for Transformation, School for Ecumenical Leadership Formation, Human Rights and Solidarity Work, and Movement Exchange Program. Another important aspect of WSCF Asia Pacific is the Regional Women's Program, which is a responsibility of the Regional Women's Committee. The Women's Program began as early as the mid-70s. It started off as women's group discussions and caucuses in the regional programs, and progressed to the formation of the Regional Women's Program in 1986.
The rise of the women's movement in the 1970s became stronger on the global level. In the WSCF, especially in 1977, at the assembly in Sri Lanka, a mandate was passed to address women's concerns and issues. The background to why in the assembly this issue became a priority, the issue of women's concerns and leadership, was that several decades in the Federation, women felt that they have been left behind or marginalized in terms of women's participation and leadership on all levels, whether it is national movement or regional or interregional. And I think we can see this in many different programs on various levels where male domination was experienced, and of course a lot of representation of men coming from various SCMs have neglected or marginalized women, and even the structure could be male-centered in many ways. In this sense, the participation of women is not encouraged, but even when it is encouraged, it is not in the center of the movement's life together with men. One form of follow-up is to organize a workshop gathering men and women participants in the SCM. The purpose of this regional workshop in 1978 is the first program of the Women's Project, and the title of the workshop is Women and Men in Asia. Followed by that, in 1984, the Regional Women's Committee was formed at the Regional Committee meeting. In 1985, the first Regional Women's Conference was held. The program thrust of this women's program is building and developing women leadership and participation, as well as women doing theology. So this is some of the background for this women's project to be introduced in order to provide space as well as to build up women for greater participation and leadership in the movement.
Over the years, SCM and WSCF Asia Pacific have helped develop numerous leaders who continue to be actively involved in the academic institutions, social movements, churches, and the ecumenical movement.
As a theologian and as a scholar and a university professor, I was inspired and moved and touched and even agitated and challenged by student Christian movement. The Christian students really changed my style of life, changed my way of doing theology. Out of that inspiration, out of that challenge, some of us Korean theologians created the Minjung theology, theology for the people. And this theology is coming out of our students' struggle for democracy and human rights in Korea under the severe and harsh rule of military dictatorship. So we had the solidarity movement, the students, faculty, university faculty, and the laborers and the church leaders. So it was a very, very comprehensive and unified ecumenical Christian movement.
WSCF is a federation of national SCMs worldwide. Personally, it is the SCM and the Federation which gave me all my inspirations, my ecumenical convictions and commitments. I owe everything to the SCM and to the Federation.
My thinking that we need more and more women to be empowered. We need more and more women to involve in the public sphere. I can say that when I involve in the regional program, say that women doing theology, it opens my mind. It opens my thinking about the discrimination situation in the society. So beginning from the women doing theology, I start to learn more and more about women issue. What's happened in our society related to women.
One of the most memorable experience was meeting with the young students in different countries, in the different movements. But when I met with the young people, every time I was energized. Energized not because of I agree with exactly what they do with things, but energized by their dreams, energized by the persistence in trying to explore ways of different understanding of the world and alternative vision about the world. Yeah, I really missed it.
In the midst of the realities happening in the Asia Pacific and in the world, SCM and WSCF Asia Pacific aims to provide more leaders and continue our role as a prophetic voice of the people.
The song we sing not for ourselves, for those who are oppressed and chained, build up a new society that share and feel with them. The way we work not for ourselves, for those who are oppressed and poor, suffer with them and let us know that our struggle will win. Come SCMs unite, be one, pull out injustice from this world. Live with people, live together, one this world.